What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Boardroom podcast, where we help you stay calm, change lives, and have business on your terms. I'm super excited to dive into what we're going to be talking about today, because I have like an OG in the Fit Pro mentorship space on with us, Mr. Big Willie himself.
Big Willie. Willie Nelson, not to be confused with a country singer. I say that all the time.
And I got my partner in crime, Tikis, here. So we all actually it's a very small world. So Tikis,
everybody knows everybody.
Yeah, it's a small world. I mean, at some point you know everybody, or you know or heard of everyone. So you're still running like your mentorship business, and you're still helping fit pros. And I think you've expanded beyond that. Right? Or
yes and no. I mean, as the industry goes, most fitness coaches end up broadening out to help coaches help coaches. But what I found is that most people that I've worked with end up doing 10 times better working with somebody in a specific niche that specializes in that versus like just generic coaching. Yeah. Especially with the fitness industry. I know there's so many people that hire coaches who help coaches, but there's something unique about being a part of a community of other people that are just all fitness professionals versus just like, hey, this person does e-com, this person does dating. And it's just, so as much as I have these clients that come to me, they just want to like take my business. So like, hey, I do B2B coaching. Can we just do what you're doing? Yeah. And I'll do that.
Okay, so you're not like publicly necessarily marketing that, but it is something that you are able to have in your tool set. But just for being very specific, you focus on fit pros, helping them get to like their first 10, 20K months. And right now you're really leveraging cold traffic as like the overarching vehicle to kind of get that lift. And then from what I've seen, you also have like some organic strategies to capitalize on the eyeballs that are coming into their brand. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the market shifted over the last couple of years. I mean, back in like 2020, I mean, we did, I think like $2.5-3 million organically. Like that was our stick is like, we're going to be better at you at organic. And we were. And most of our clients were doing, $20,000 to $30,000 a month plus. We had a couple of clients actually make 7 figures organically as fitness coaches, which is completely unheard of, which is wild. And a lot of these people were from, shout out to, Jim Launch and Hormozy, that they were how to pivot, how to do something. So we kind of helped them do that. Yeah. But obviously organic now, with the algorithm and Facebook and all this stuff, paid ads are just quicker.
Yep. I've never launched a successful brand organically. It's always been paid ads from day zero. Yeah.
Dude, so me and I used to be a part of other sales coaches. Go ahead.
No, what I was going to say is I've never done anything organic. We got something new. It's crazy. All right, we'll put some spend behind it. Let's throw some ads. Like, I don't know. It's just, and you were really big too. You were big too, Will, on the organic side. And the fact that you can get those numbers organically is just crazy to me. This is like,
dude, it's wild. I mean, people that put that grind on like organic, but it wasn't even a grind, man. So what's interesting, if you look at like my best clients, the mindset was just different. So a lot of the people I used to work with were gym owners that wanted to transition online. So they know what it's like to run a business. Yeah. And I think that's a big discrepancy that I see now is that there's a lot of like fitness coaches that they've never run a business. So getting them to 5K or 10K a month is a little bit of a challenge. But if you're used to actually owning a business, you know what it takes to be successful. And that's why we had so many gym owners who transitioned online that were making 20, 30, 50, 80, $1,000 a month. And they weren't shredded. Like Tiki, I don't know if you know Ted. I talked to him the other day. So Ted's doing like $200,000 to $300,000 a month. And he's a fitness coach. So it's just like, I mean, you can do it. There's different things for different people. So
exactly. Yeah, and that makes sense. I mean, I think for one of the things that when we had like our mentorship systems by design, our claim to fame was like, if you want to learn how to run like your fitness business using ads, we're the guys you'd go to. And we referred a few clients to you who really wanted to learn paid ads. It was like,
Nick specifically. I don't know if you remember Nicky B. Nicky B scaled his business. He was working I think he was still doing a 9 to 5. Making like $200K a year. And he did pretty well with you, Iggy, like I said, as far as ads, but he's like, I know my message is missing. And he scaled to like 65 to 80K a month.
Which is organically, which is like freaking awesome. So it's funny. We never like officially had like a referral.
We just know each other.
When we said like anytime we had somebody in our program, they're like, we really want to learn organic. I'm like, bro, like I'm not even gonna pretend I know anything about organic. You should check out Will.
I just run one. I put $1 in and I get $3 to $5 back. That's it. It works.
You know, I'm like, I don't want to get in that lane or even entertain trying to teach organic because I'm too lazy to even like figure that out.
Here's what your Facebook bio color should be, right? Like, I help busy professionals. They're like, oh my God.
There's an entire science to it. And it's one of those things where if you really know that game, like you can crush it. Yeah. So you started making that pivot into really focusing on cold traffic now, but you still have like an organic approach to how you're doing the cold traffic. So I want to like unpack it because really just so you guys have a little background, the reason why Will's on here is because Tikis essentially made a couple posts. He was like, I hate DM ads. And the funny thing is there's some real reasons behind why he shares that. We built 3 different 8-figure online fitness businesses off DM ads, like purely off DM ads.
That's all it was.
It's not like there's no context with
I get it.
With it, but you love DM ads, so I'm like curious to hear like why do you like DM ads and how does that fit into like your bigger acquisition strategy?
So I think simply put, how can you get into a conversation with somebody as quickly as possible? I mean, that's just my mindset behind it. And if most people are seeing an ad from a cold source, you know, most of the time they're going to be on Instagram anyways.
Yeah.
And if I can get them into a conversation as quickly as possible with, you know, an AI or myself or a setter or anybody like that, the likelihood that they're going to book a call and be qualified, I mean, I think it goes up like 40%, if not a little bit more, because, you know, the days of like boring VSLs and stuff like that, like you're chasing people and it's like you're the song and dance. And with messenger ads, like my whole goal is I want to have a conversation with you so that I can figure out even if it makes sense to hop on a call. And I think with that too, my goal with the DM ads is that even if you aren't ready right now, if it's an Instagram DM, more than likely you're going to give me a follow on Instagram and watch the rest of my content. Yeah. So it might be a slower burn. And on top of that, what we noticed too is more of my B2B coaches than fitness coaches is we're really leveraging YouTube as well, which I think is coming back as far as more long form content, because the trust in the industry is just gone. Like it is. And I get it. Like, you know, if you come to me and you haven't worked with 2 to 3 other business coaches, I'm blown away. Like, I'm just like, that's unheard of. Like it just is normal.
It's actually very, very true.
It just is, right? And I don't no shame or hate towards any business coaches. I get, you know, everybody's different, has their own stick, but my goal is like, you got to build trust. So if I can send you 3 to 5 trainings that you watch, you're going to be more, you know, qualified. So it's like, I'm not going to have a long conversation with you in DMs, but I am going to nurture you and say, go watch a bunch of these videos. If it resonates, then we can have a conversation. And that's the same thing we did years ago with Facebook groups.
Yeah.
Right. So we had these trainings in the Facebook groups and did from there. And, you know, I shot a message back and forth with, I don't know if you guys know who Ravi, I can never pronounce his last name.
Ravi Abdullah?
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, so his stuff, he's very heavy with YouTube now. So his stuff is just like, I don't want to get on a conversation unless you've watched all that stuff.
Yeah.
But you can have an easier back and forth conversation messenger, especially Instagram more than like Facebook, because that's where they're at.
Yeah.
I mean, most professionals are on Instagram 24/7. Like,
and that makes sense. So your approach isn't really like, you're not really looking at a short sales cycle. You got more of a long-term view on it, which is why Instagram DM ads make sense, because you're like, I'm looking to kind of court you a little bit, right? Build a little bit of a relationship, build some trust. And then if it makes sense, you know, after you've consumed a little bit of content from me, then you're essentially going to self-qualify, because at that point, you know what I do, you know the results that I get and the problems that I solve. And now you're like, all right, I'm ready to engage in the next step.
Yeah, because, you know, if you've ever managed a sales team, like the worst thing is for you to send people to a salesperson and they're like, dude, this person doesn't know what we do. They're unqualified. They're it's a waste of everybody's time.
Yeah.
So the whole purpose of the DM ads is it's the quickest way to get into a conversation with somebody. And I know there's a lot of business coaches that are teaching like, awareness ads, which are essentially boosted posts. I see every fitness professional doing it now. But the problem with that is like, just because somebody follows you, like you're missing the engagement part, right? Yeah. And there has to be some type of value exchange. So with DM ads, it's like, what is something valuable that somebody wants, aka a lead magnet, whatever it is, that elicits a conversation that I can figure out what's going on. So it's the same methodology of years ago when everybody was doing two-step posts, if you guys remember, like it's the same thing. We're just doing it in DM ads.
Yeah. And they're using ads to essentially get it in front of just like new eyeballs and kind of fast track how quickly you can get your message in front of like a new audience.
Yeah, I mean, we do really well organically with Instagram too. Like I just posted, we got a client made a reel the other day that hit 2.1 million views, which is pretty crazy. And it took him a minute to make. He's like, dude, this is wild. But I think it's just, why wouldn't you market? Like, it's just dumb not to. And it took me years to realize this. And I think for me, the biggest complaint or reason I didn't run ads earlier is because I just never found anything that worked, right? And that's, I think, a lot of people's resistance is the only resistance they have towards ads is because they spent 2, 3, 5, 8, whatever K towards an agency and didn't get results.
Yep.
Or they spent a little bit of money themselves and didn't see results. Because I think there is such a misconception or between like what it really takes for ads to be successful. And if you've never run ads before, I think a lot of people are like, oh, I spent $500 and I didn't make 10K. And you're like, dude, like, no, like we're not, there needs to be like
the right mindset when how they're approaching ads. So, I mean, I'm glad you kind of gave a little context on why like DM ads make sense for your strategy. Now, for you, Tikis, like you're pretty adamant about like, I hate DM ads and I'm never going to run them again. So I want to get a little bit of context from you on like what led to that.
And then that's coming from somebody that ran all DM ads for years, right? So it's not like I never ran them or anything like that. So I think the biggest thing is what I've realized why I don't do DM ads anymore is just you don't have really much control in terms of the quality. I can't optimize for certain things. And the fact that like you're really stuck with Facebook, right? So if you got 24 hours and if you don't like get some type of action from that lead, it's kind of done, right? So the way I approach it is how can I have full control? How can I pivot to other platforms? If I want to run YouTube ads, I can run YouTube ads. If I want to do Google ads, I can do Google ads. Facebook, IG, whatever. Yeah. I'm not stuck on Facebook, right? Because that's another big thing that happened to me for years, right? Ad account goes down. Oh shit. Now what? Like I'm stuck. Like I can't pivot. I can't run ads anywhere else because I'm relying so much on DM ads, right? So that's another thing is I'm not stuck by Facebook. One, I can optimize for schedules. I can optimize for purchases. I can get third tracking involved and all that stuff. Now, the fact that obviously I use Charlie in all of our businesses, I can run SMS ads, right? I can have that conversation that you're talking about, Will, which is a big thing, by the way. Like if you don't have some type of communication with the prospect, man, even if they do book a call, the chances of them showing up, it just drops dramatically, like drops. So I totally agree that you have to have some type of conversation. The only problem is with the DM ads is just I was stuck by Facebook. Like I couldn't go anywhere, right? So now with Charlie, he, obviously has that conversation within text messages and stuff like that. So I'm not missing out on the DM part, right? So that's why I am very heavy on SMS. That's why, and not only that, I own the asset, right? If somebody gives me the name, email, and phone, that's mine. Facebook, that ain't yours. That's my shit now. Dude, I'm not stuck on your 24-hour bullcrap thing that I can't, reach out to somebody, right? I can email, I can do text blast, I can do all the SMS marketing, I can do reactivation plays. That is why I am so heavy on non-DM ads. That's just my 2 cents.
And that makes sense, but it's also like there's two different kind of games being played, whereas like, Will, you're really focused on building a long-term relationship with the prospect. And you're playing on Facebook's playground. So you have to essentially kind of go that more organic approach to the DM ads where you're building that and you're trying to build that relationship. Where we're like, Tikis, when we're running cold traffic, we're trying to get a return on ad spend really as quickly as possible. And if you don't have the ability to really optimize your campaigns to feed the algorithm and train it to find and feed you more people who are like the ones that are booking a call and actually signing up for your programs, then you don't have the ability to do that with DM ads. And an interesting little insight with DM ads, if you're trying to get a return on ad spend within about 30 days on those campaigns, it can work. I think both strategies will work. Like I see, Will, your strategy working even long term if you really focus on building a brand and building a following on Instagram and monetize it like consistently, because it's going to have that flywheel effect. You have some people who don't purchase within that first 30 days, but then they start seeing your stuff, consuming your information, and maybe like day 90, they become a client. And you just, if you're willing to stack that up, then it starts to create that flywheel to where every single month you start to see consistent sales coming through, and you can start to forecast what you want to do with your business. On the other side, if the goal is to get a return on ad spend within the first 30 days, right, and you're looking to optimize further into your funnel, the data that you can get when you're running traffic to a landing page and kind of consistency of quality leads that you can get that way, I think it's second to none. But you have to know the game that you're playing, right?
So two things. One, I would agree with you, because the data that you get from messenger ads obviously is hard to track, right? You're tracking for, how many conversations am I having? And to Tiggy's point earlier, I think it's twofold that I'm not disagreeing with what he's saying. And that's why one of the things that I think is important is what you said, is owning your information. So when we do DM ads, I think you have to have in that first message a way to collect information. So obviously you can use, white label, go high level things or whatever you want to, because anytime I do a lead magnet to a DM ad, I'm getting your phone number and I'm getting your email. Because just like he said, I don't want to risk that being whatever.
Yeah.
So the conversation will start from a DM ad, but I'm getting your email and phone number in that DM ad before it triggers the rest of the automation. Because I know, just like you, I need that information. And then obviously I can use systems like Charlie AI, even if it is a DM ad, right, to get the phone number. Then the phone number is triggered by Charlie. Charlie can start the conversation and book the call or send them to a VSL or whatever. So I just have seen the intro part do a little bit better from a messenger ad than I have like a landing page.
Yeah. I mean, the response rate on DM ads, it's not even close. Like the response rate on DM ads is like 70%, which is just like obscene. But and then the thing about like when we were building our fitness brands, running off DM ads, right? It was a volume game. Like if we just got 10 to 20% of those leads to be qualified and have enough money to purchase, that's how we were playing that game. It was just volume, right? So we had to have a massive team of DM setters working all those leads, having all those conversations. And it was terrible.
But you realize, I think, the beauty of things like Charlie is that the conversations end up being the same. I mean, I don't care what you say. In any business, the conversations end up being the same thing. And you can kind of follow a general framework or script that you can plug into your system. That's just like, here it is, here's what's, and next thing you know, it's done. That way you're not having to hire, setter after setter who's unqualified, who just bought another course from whoever, who is like DMing you, I'm a new setter and I can help you.
Yep, that makes a ton of sense. So for you, you're still kind of playing the volume game, because you don't really necessarily care about the lead quality early on, because you're trying to nurture them, and essentially through that nurture process,
yes and no. Qualified. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, we have people that come in from a DM ad. Like we signed up somebody the other day who came in from an ad, watched the story. We had like an if you are type thing, and then ended up paying us in full the other day. Yeah. So it's just, you don't know. I just like to have it in case, there are like people that are just not ready to buy right now. Because in any industry, you will have people that could see a DM ad, have a simple conversation that takes 5 minutes, they book a call, and next thing you know, they paid you, $5K, $8K, $10K, whatever it is, and it was that easy. But that's not always the case, and sometimes it does take a little bit of nurture. So I don't think there's a right or wrong way. I just know in the industry, there's a lot less trust now.
Yeah.
And the best way that I've seen do it is kind of using like YouTube, because I know there's a lot of coaches that have these free school communities too, which we can talk about on another subject, but that's just not.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of building free communities.
No.
Off off native platforms. I'm sorry, like it just the engagement is so bad if they're not paying to be
really bad.
It doesn't make any sense.
That's the thing. I know we're getting off topic, and I apologize, but that's the thing I see a lot of fitness coaches get shiny object syndrome about. And no offense to the people that do MRR, whatever, but like, no, you're not going to be successful. I'm sorry. You're building a low ticket community for $27 a month, or unless you have 500,000 people that are following you, like it's a tough model to run.
Yeah.
You know?
So, I mean, I think we're all on the same page as far as like, you need to lead with a high ticket offer initially.
I mean, that's I mean, here's the thing. You can have ascension offers. You know, what I've seen work really well, Iggy, which we've been doing a little bit, is just different levels of access to you.
Yeah.
Right? That the information isn't necessarily completely different. It's not like you're gatekeeping some secret module that somebody needs to watch. But essentially, obviously, the more that they want to work like directly with you, you just charge more money.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of coaches overwhelm and complicate things. They're like, oh, I need this course here and this course here and this course here and this, and it's just it's too much.
Yeah. Which makes a ton of sense. So for you, DM ads fit really well into the bigger strategy of getting people into your ecosystem. You've got like a content engine that, you know, like you're putting out content consistently that's going to be nurturing them. And you've got some like high level, high value assets that you can send them. If they're the right person and they consume it, you know for a fact that they're eventually going to become a client.
I just want to get to know somebody and see a face and kind of see videos or like you can vibe with somebody and get their personality pretty quickly off watching maybe 3 to 5 of their videos. So that's why I like the DM ads is like versus like a VSL or even, no offense, like an SMS.
Yeah.
You're chatting, but it's like, I don't see your face.
Yeah. You don't really get to know them. And that's a part of like what you do. So when you get somebody coming in on DMs, you're checking out their profile and kind of getting a read on.
I mean, they're vetting me too. Yeah. You know, they're looking at my profile. They're like, who's Willie Nelson? Like, who is this guy?
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. And I think that's part of the thing that you have to be willing to do is you have to be willing to do that extra work.
I mean, that's it. Yeah.
You know, and if you don't want to do that extra work, where it's like, you don't want to go and check out their profiles and things like that. And you want to train the algorithm to just send you people who look like, who have like similar interests to those who are booking qualified appointments.
Yeah.
That's where like the strategy where you're driving SMS makes sense.
Yeah, I get it.
But also like the strategy of building that audience, because with the DM ads, you're kind of knocking out 2 birds with 1 stone, right? You are building like your brand, and you have on the back end the ability to monetize the new eyeballs that are coming in. So I can see that as a good long-term strategy for even like building a personal brand and having the ability to essentially, as you start building your personal brand and getting more eyeballs in your profiles, that gives you optionality with different ways to monetize those eyeballs, right?
And you can still, obviously with a DM ad, if the first message is sending them to a landing page or whatever, you can still optimize for people booking a call on that. So it's like the message is just the intro, but where you're really tracking the conversion would be obviously on people that are going to that page.
Yeah.
Right. So you could still obviously start to get a higher quality lead. And I mean, Tika, we could talk about this all day long, but you know, as far as meta and AI and targeting, I feel like everybody's trying to be smarter than it is. And it just does, like everybody's like, I need this special interest group or targeting or, you know, zip code and whatever. And more times that I do that, it does horrible. Like it just doesn't perform. So I'm just like, here's really good ad copy, really good description, and just do your thing.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen this on your end, but I don't know if you've seen this on your end, but every time messenger ads has always been a quality issue, right? It's always been, holy shit, can I just get like 10% of my damn leads to be good, right? That's all I'm trying to shoot for, 20%, right? All the other 80%, it's just crap, right? Yeah. So even with quote unquote high targeting, very specific, going for that quality, it never really did anything from a messenger ad. Like I could be like this wizard and do this narrow and targeting and this. It did not change the quality of the lead at all, ever.
Yeah.
But with the SMS,
been about that.
Yeah. With the SMS, right? You can obviously go ahead.
So where are they coming? Because apologies for the ignorance. Where are they coming in from the SMS? Is this a lead form, or where's the initial like opt-in coming from?
Yeah, so we just do an ad to an opt-in page. I don't really do lead forms too much. Ad to an opt-in page, and then I actually have some qualification there before they even become a lead. So that's another reason why I like it, is because I can even control the quality even from that aspect. Whereas I'm telling Facebook,
I'm serious.
People just message me all day.
From somebody who's had such experience as you, what are you seeing as far as the cost, as far as a lead versus like when you were doing DM ads? Because obviously I'm very interested in that. And I think that's a good talking point for you, is like, obviously from my perspective, I would assume that the cost is probably higher, but it is more qualified. Do you want to touch on kind of what you're seeing with that?
Yeah. So in terms of cost, it's the same. It doesn't even cost me more. Right. So it's average. So this is in the fitness industry, right? So this is about $5, 5 something, right? That's average. And that is,
and you have high friction. You have high friction in that process.
Yeah, exactly. So I go ad.
I think you need to.
I take them off Facebook, right? I go to an opt-in page, and I have a quote unquote little mini application leading up to whatever they're getting. Then they give me a name, phone, or email. Yep. Then they actually land on whatever showing them or whatever they're opting in for. So there's friction. And the fact that I even looked at my ad account right now. I am getting $8. I'll take $8 all day instead of people fucking want to message me all day and just do that. Right. Whereas with this, I just have a lot more control. But I always tell people, yo, if you're smashing a DM ads, don't do shit. Like write that mother effort all the way through and just keep putting money behind it. Exactly.
What are you seeing as far as cost, Will, for your clients? Because it's kind of twofold. You're running.
So it depends. So I run a lot of different ads for myself. I run all 3 different strategies for my business. So I have like awareness ads we run DM ads, and I still run OG VSL type stuff. So I run all 3, so different people. But for fitness, it's usually sub 5 as far as for Messenger. For B2B, it's more like 8 to 10, maybe 10 to 15, but that's kind of ideal. Fitness is easier. Like Tiki said, it's a quality issue more than anything. And with quality, you just have to have better just disqualifiers, I think. Yeah. And you can do that 2 ways. One of the ways that we do that is usually in the messaging, like the offer. Like the initial ad pretty much tries to disqualify people as much as possible so that you're not even clicking the ad to begin with. I know a lot of people that have these very generic, hey, lose 20 pounds, but I want to disqualify really hard in my initial message so that you are going to click on the ad if you are that person or not, so that I'm not promoting like some garbage that's going to get garbage in.
Yeah. So you're saying you're using the copy in the ad itself as a filter.
Correct.
To prevent the wrong people for even like clicking it. Right.
Yeah. I'm almost like, you don't want people. You're like, please don't buy my shit. Excuse my language, but it's like, please don't buy my stuff almost.
That makes sense.
In doing that, you actually attract more people because there seems like there's a scarcity aspect to it. And there's an energy that you can't fake when it comes to sales and it comes to money, that the person who wants it less is going to sign up. Like that just is. So if you really don't care in your ads and you're just like, here it is. This is what I'm looking for. If you're not a good fit, please don't click this ad. You'll get better people.
Yeah, like those superhuman ads where it's like, if you're a man making 100.
Oh, you're talking about John?
Yeah, John Madsen.
Yeah. John's like,
I love watching his ads because it's a bold disqualifier.
John gets the most hate out of, I don't care what industry you're in. He gets more hate than anybody. But guess what? He doesn't care.
No, because I love his ads, man. I love watching that because I'm like,
the thing is, he's going to get his ideal client. He's essentially calling out your manhood. And he's like, dude, are you man enough to sign up or not? Do you have the money? And he's like, you don't have the money? Well, you're broke. I'm sorry. Like, that's it.
The guys who are like, those guys love it because they're like,
but that's it. You find your tribe.
Yep.
I was watching a fitness girl the other day. She's got like 2.1 million followers, and she grew she was at like 30,000 and went to 2 million. And the reason she did is because she's just like, she's vulgar and she's in your face and she's just like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
So it attracts a certain type of person. So I think a lot of people play too, and Tiki, you could talk about this too, when it comes to ads, it's just too generic.
Yeah. They're not,
hey, if you're an online, if you're a guy between the ages of 25 and 34 and want to lose 20 pounds, get 6-pack abs and eat whatever food it just.
Yeah. You gotta be, and that's kind of like where it's always been like that, but I'm seeing the specificity become a priority, right? And especially with the way the algorithms are set up now, like the more specific you can be with your messaging, the better the AI that's actually serving up in your campaigns, the better it can identify those who are going to respond positively to it. So if you're super generic and people are just scrolling through, you may have a high volume of people clicking.
Yeah, the DM ads are going to be a nightmare for you. Like they are. I mean, to Tiki's point, DM ads are going to be a nightmare if your message is very generic because you're attracting everybody.
Yeah, so like specific.
So that's why like the DM ads work for us is because we're more specific on the front end, so that you don't even waste my time clicking a message. Like it's too much work, and I don't.
If you're a mother and your household income is less than $100,000 a year, this isn't for you. We're too expensive.
Yeah, I mean that's it. Yeah. But you know what happens is actually when you do that, you do have people that are like, I don't have the money, but I'm going to get the money to make it happen. Type thing. So I was talking to Tiki. You know who Kai Bax is or whatever. So he runs an agency. He does like 1.3, 1.4 a month, whatever. Anyways, his ads are just like, he has like these high, like if you're not making X amount of money, like you're not a good fit type thing. And I think that's the way to do it is even if you say that, you're going to get people that are of lower quality that are still interested because they want to find out what it is.
Yeah.
So like I always start
and they're probably more willing. Right? Yeah, they're probably more willing to actually invest because that exclusive and oh God, I got to be making $150K. Like, how can I actually afford this? Right. So, you might get those lower quality people.
One of the core kind of takeaways, even for those of you guys who are listening, is think through how you can make your campaigns more specific, right? Yeah. No matter what kind of ads you're running, the more specific you can be with your messaging, the clearer you can be with your messaging, the better lift you're going to see across the board, whether you're running DM ads or whether you're running traffic to SMS, or even if you're running awareness campaigns, like the more specific you can be about the messaging, because that's what I've noticed with the algorithms, like it's been all about the messaging. And that's why Facebook and Meta and even Google and YouTube are starting to take away your ability to get very granular with your targeting, because if you can be clear with the messaging, the algorithms and the AIs are gotten way more sophisticated. So the more specific you can be with the messaging, the better leads you're going to attract as a whole, because the AI is going to start to figure out who's actually responding positively to it. And if you can be kind of polarizing, like John Madsen, who's like, if you're not making more than $150,000 a year,
don't click my ad.
We're too expensive for you. And the AI can see how people react, right?
It's an ego thing.
Reacting and then optimize for those who are responding well to it.
But that's, I think everybody gets so focused on like the one thing that I would tell anybody listening is like, it's not necessarily your quote unquote niche. It's really about just who your dream client is.
Yeah.
Like who is your dream client? Because I think a lot of people get over focused on, this niche. Like, no, what is your message? What is your story? And who is your dream client? Speak to them directly. Like, stop saying like it's a specific niche. Like if you wrote down who that client is, write a message to them and turn that into an ad.
Yep. And I think with the advancement of the internet, it's never been easier. If you know who you want to attract, it has never been easier to get in front of those people. And so what's going to allow you to stand out is you can get in front of those people, but do you actually have what it takes to deliver on a promise that you're making for them? And are you good at what you do? Right. And that's really where that trust is starting to dissipate, is because there's a lot of people out there who's read $100 million offers who are getting good at making offers, but they don't know how to do the damn thing.
Yeah.
I see it all the time and it cracks me up, but it's been with technology, it's never been easier to get in front of your people. It's a matter of like,
it's never been easier to make money too. Yeah. I mean, it's sad, but I mean, it's just gotten worse. I think it's getting more challenging and there's more skepticism, and it's the business.
Yeah. And if you're not good at what you do, you're going to get squeezed out. It's just,
I mean, proof is in the pudding. I mean, like, what does Hormozy say? Like, stacks so much undeniable social proof that you can't, whatever otherwise. I don't know.
Yeah. But it's like confidence comes from just having so much evidence that you are who you say you are, that there's no room for doubt or something along those lines. We're grossly misquoting him. But anyways, we're up on time. Will, man, it was great to have you. For those guys who are listening, Will, how can somebody get in touch with you? What's the best way? And who do you want to get in touch with you? You don't want everyone in their mind.
I give my home address. You can come visit. No.
Send them a DM.
Send them a DM.
Send them a DM.
I'd say the best thing is to just give me a follow at Instagram. It's Will Nelson _coach_. Kind of add the underscores. Or you can just go to my website. It's actually a VSL, sorry. So it's just willnelsoncoach.com and you can find me, but probably
we'll include those in the show notes. We'll include your Instagram and on the show notes. And
just hit me up on Instagram.
Show notes.
Send me, here's the thing I'll know if you actually watch this podcast or listen to it. Send me your funniest GIF in a DM.
I love that.
No response, no anything. Just send me a GIF and I'll know that you watched this.
Just send a funny GIF. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'll know you watched this. I'll be like, okay, you came from Iggy. I got it. Okay.
Awesome.
No.
So for those guys who want to check him out, information will be in the show notes. Send him a GIF on Instagram and then he'll know that you guys came from us. So, man, it was a pleasure having you. It's always been, I've always admired the results you've been able to get your clients from afar, even when we're quote unquote competing. I never look at it as that. There's some people who were like, unless
I really don't like you, and there's very few coaches that there might be like one or two, but I know everybody in the industry.
Yeah.
And we probably all started from one or two mentorships back in like 2017 or 18 anyways. So
100%. So when I sent a few people over, they were like, oh, I thought you guys are like, I'm like, no, dude, like there's so many people
we don't really do ads.
Yeah. There's so many people that need help. Like, I don't care. Like if we can't help you, like maybe he can, like, I don't care, so.
Yeah. I get people that are like, hey, build me a funnel. And I was like, no, like I don't I'll send you somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. So appreciate having you on board, man. Again, info is going to be in the show notes, but kind of summarize everything. It really doesn't matter what your actual tactic is. If you have the right principle and you have the right strategy and you're very clear on who you want to get in front of, you can pretty much make any strategy work, right? So that's the core takeaway. Hope you guys found this helpful. Like, subscribe, and share it with anyone you think could use the message. Till next time, stay calm, change lives, and have business on your terms.